Good evening. Welcome to another cast of VRML Breachers. Today we have an exciting game between a Fluid NA and, of course, the Aspect. I believe this might even be what they consider old Aspect, so we'll see how the players come in and how they play. But my name is Martini. Today I have Colt and, of course, Juice in the booth with me. How are we all doing today?
Man, Martini, I'm doing good. I'm ready for this matchup. It seems like it's going to be a close one. And honestly, I'm just excited to watch another match of VRML. You know, I'm really excited this season.
I'm excited. You got Fluid and Aspect here. I feel like this will be a good matchup. Both teams, I believe, are undefeated right now. I was looking at the connoisseur votes as well, and Aspect is heavily favored in this one. It was 47 to Fluid 6. So it would be kind of a comeback story. And we actually saw one like this yesterday. I was doing a cast with Plague, and Bros ended up winning when they were severely in disadvantage. Oh, I guess Aspect is 0-1, but Fluid starting out good. I mean, 3-0. They've been doing their challenge matches, and that's absolutely beautiful. And we want to go over the bans really quick here. Let me see what it was again. I believe it is Factory and Dam are the bans today. So we're going to see some different maps for once instead of just Factory.
I mean, Factory is definitely one of those, bread and butter of creatures, as we always say. Let me let the teams know they can get started. We're ready. But I gotta say, as much as Aspect is 0-1 this season, at least for these 2 weeks, Fluid NA has 3-0. I will say there is a difference, right? I think Aspect lost against a team like Anarchy. We're seeing Fluid, though, win against teams like Athens NA, at least Shadows. Not to say that they're terrible teams or anything, but sometimes it's about the types of players they're playing against. And I know Anarchy is one of those teams that does have a pretty solid roster. So we'll see if Aspect is quote-unquote washed this season, or if it is just Fluid NA happens to be going against easier teams or something like that. So I'm excited to see what these do come into. But you're right, it's funny to see 47 connoisseur votes for Aspect, 6 for Fluid NA. So obviously the community is favoring them heavily in one other direction. So it'll be fun to see what ends up happening in the end. I did want to give a quick shout out, I think, to Jazzberry in the chat. I saw, can I get you an I love you? Yes, I love you, Jazz. You're one of the, always there on the cast. Got to give the respect and love to the community. So I'm always excited to see everyone hop in. I mean, we got 20 folks in the chat right now having a good time. So say dubs in the chat, or heart in the chat, because we definitely see y'all, and we're going to have a great game. And I was talking with the casters in the pregame lobby. I expect this to be a great game. These two teams look pretty solid, and we're about, it's the third weekend, so it's a little bit closer in terms of the MMR, so we're expecting a better turnout in terms of how they actually play against each other and the competitiveness of this game. I did give them the all go ahead, but it looks like, I'm not sure if they're subbing someone out or if someone's changing the battery. But anyways, any last words from y'all before I might do some sponsors here?
Yeah, I'm good.
No? All right. Well, let me give a quick shout out to one of my personal favorite sponsors, Trongo Factory, for providing us with the game we love, and of course for supporting Season 5 of VRML. And of course,
we're off to a good start.
Of course, HyperX for offering some great products like the high-quality HyperX quadcast sets that I personally use, and other great peripherals for computers. Looks like the teams finally did decide what to play, and I think you might recognize this one. We're going right into ship for this upcoming matchup.
Rework. I feel like a lot of people would definitely say heavily defender-sided, but now with the flashbangs, if you can utilize them correctly and throw them in the correct spots, you can wipe out an entire defense like instantly.
Yeah, but you got to remember, they did add the C4 that allows the defenders finally really fight back against what I consider a solid advantage to the attacking team, which was that flashbang update. Do I agree with the fact that they needed it? I don't know. I feel like defenders were, even with that, it made it more even, and I don't know if they needed another little bit of help, but we'll see what ends up happening. As a Cole, we're coming into this upcoming round. Fluid NA getting ready for this push. Looks like the A side is going to be their choice.
Yeah, we're seeing that drone coming in, finding one right behind the boxes, but not really finding that second person faded. kind of gonna play off the big lunch right here and play off that wall. Throwing the Ensign. We see a push come in from Purple. Purple taking down Faded and Lunch. And we're just seeing a wipeout right here now. All of them pushing in quick, getting those picks off from the generator. Sorry, my bad. Generator now pushing into A. It is now a 1v4, 1v3, 1v2, maybe possibly the clutch, but Acer does get the win.
That was a very fast round from Aspect right there, and Fluid actually tried to hold that pretty aggressive in the workshop area. They had 2 people kind of quick peek in the breach, but the Aspect players just kind of ran in and stormed site and ended up being, what, a 4-5v1. Granted, Silent did get 3 right there, putting it into a 1v2. Almost had the clutch. Was almost there. It was impressive, but like I said, the attack, you can definitely win on these attack rounds, and that was a very fast push, very aggressive, and that's what you like to see from these attackers. A lot of people stall rounds early on, and they're kind of like scared to push in, especially if the defense is playing up like they did in that workshop area. But Fluid, I don't know if I was saying it wrong. Fluid actually kind of just walked in there and got the picks and going up 1-0 early.
Yeah, I mean, they had a great dropping of all of those players, I think, towards... It wasn't even that late in the round, to your point, so things happened really fast already for Fluid NA, especially with them on the attack. And nothing fancy. I didn't see any crazy utility plays. I didn't see any crazy flashbangs. It was just straight-up gunplay, and they were just getting shot down left and right. So that makes me a little worried for the Aspect, is already seeing a lot of push from them on the defending side. But, hey, we're now coming into this upcoming round. Big Lunch playing deep in as a roamer over here. Not roamer, but extended off the side.
Yeah, I'm looking at all those peaks outside that these defense players are using, and it's surprising me how, you know, easy those picks can be when the team's not expecting it. But we are going to see Wall being foam, getting ready to push into A. Fluid, because I had that wrong at first. Fluid pushing into A, getting ready. I didn't see any util really bought over on the Aspect side, so they're really just bearing it. And I don't know, Shimi, sorry, Marui. I don't think that they're gonna be able to get in and stop the plant from happening.
I mean, they got the plant going on already. Outlaw coming in with a beautiful shot. Maybe going in for another one on the corner. Getting another one to follow up against Silent, leaving just Gizmo left in a 1v3 situation right now for the Aspect players. It's looking tough, and they got the EMP down. I mean, what do you do at this point as Gizmo?
I think Gizmo taking his time, getting repositioned, is very smart right here. He knows wall is blown. He knows they're going to be holding every angle. I think he just has to be really lucky in the way that these Fluid players peak. But I do think he might be able to get into that blown wall without never mind. I was about to say Maker might not see him before he gets over to Outlaw, but he does get the pick.
Once again, Fluid with a quick push right there. They took space very, very easy. I'm surprised that Aspect didn't play out in the captain's quarters. They actually had like 2 people playing the hall, but they had no one playing entry denial on like the 2 main doors of the hall. So once Fluid took space, they popped the walls, and then they just started clustering site and ended up bringing it to a 3v1. And once you saw they got the EMP down, they had people holding every single cross angle known to man. They had a person next to the coffee table holding the hall. They had 2 people in sites holding cross angles. So if you're Aspect right now, you got to try to figure out something here, because you're going down 2-0 early, and it hasn't necessarily been close either. Fluid has been winning with ease, I would say.
I will say that they have some time, but you're right. It's happening fast. 2-0 right now for the Aspect players. Fluid, looking pretty fluid, gotta say.
Yep.
I mean, 2-0. Maybe you're right. This might be a kind of who I forgot it was you or Colt that mentioned it, but this might be what happened the other day with the connoisseur votes going the other way than what actually had happened. Obviously, a lot of people know the Aspect name. It's been around for a long, long time, and we've seen them rebranded several times over. But hey, Just because their name is known doesn't mean that they're guaranteed to win these games. Provost trying to take some shots out, but Big Lunch really fighting back, taking a little bit of chip damage. As you can see, that Kid Dio coming out in hand. Gizmo, though, taking out the shots against Provost themselves. Now leaving, it looks like they're trying to come in pretty soon for Fluid.
Yeah, we're seeing that flank watch over there on stairs from Blame, and he's trying to get the picks, but not able to get the full dead while he stems up. We're not seeing much util on Aspect. Aspect's using 2 Ensigns and a nade right off the rip. They're not able to really deny the site push. They're purely going on picks, and you know they might get it. They do have gun advantage, but the way that's going out, util is very much needed right now, and they just don't have any. They're wasting it right off the bat.
Yeah, a minute and a half left in the round. Looks like Fluid trying to figure out how to attack this Aspect defense. Finally, a little bit stronger. Faded, though, taking a shot on a Maker, leaving this 5v3 for them here as they must hold it down. Commander going in for a peek around the corner. Gets the shot off. Blame, though, not able to get that one, but they do get their own frag in the end. Minute left. Time is counting down. 2 and 4. It's looking tough right now for Fluid.
Silver taking down Gizmo right there, while Gizmo just barely stops holding and goes for the full swing and just not ready for Silverhand to be there. Commander does seem like he's going to try getting another pick at that medical center, but they kind of just push back the site, which might be the better play. They have numbers. They can take their time here. Let Fluid get up and make them have to come to us. We are seeing Silverhand going in for the peek. The swing silent takes him out, and now it's just a 1v3. Commander all alone against 3 Aspect players, all holding Vezins and ready to fight. No util on really either side.
Yeah, it looks like they're getting offside. Commander going in for a potential shot, but I mean 7 seconds on the clock. Cold. I mean, this is, what do you do at this point? You just peel off, probably go for the save. They do have a Viper in hand, so it's not nothing, but it won't really matter. Probably going to buy out next round.
The hold from Aspect right there was absolutely beautiful. That is how they win rounds. The one round they play aggressive, they win it. They were able to hold berthing and hold that medical area with perfection. If you saw Fluid, they were scared to even walk into the building. They couldn't even go into dorms. Aspect was holding it perfectly, and then they brought it down to that 3v2 and decided, hey, let's just book it back to site, then we can play refrags off of that, and ended up getting those last 2 picks. But that's the sort of aggression that you need when you play in these VRML matches. You can't be scared, because then you're just it's swing or be swung, and they played that perfectly, held it down. They played it perfect. It was nice, and Aspect went in their first round of this first map.
I've seen it time and time again, right, where a team was a little too conservative, where they didn't really push in when they probably should have. Again, I always say this, we can see everything on the cast, so obviously it's a little different with us. With, it's like we have the crystal ball, we can see every single little thing, but there are many times where a team that was up, honestly, with a solid advantage, and it might have just made more sense to kind of punch it and really force in that attack, but we didn't quite see that, from Fluid this time around. A little bit scared, I think, of the Aspect side, but they're looking a lot better. And looking a little bit more informed there, I'd say. So we'll see if we can get some better action from Aspect. Now Gizmo and Blame I Aim playing a little aggressive again on this starboard area.
Yeah, we are seeing pretty much everyone having a Vezin. Only 2 people, 1 on each side, not holding a rifle. And we are going to see a lot of chip damage being dealt to Fluid, but able to get the pick onto Blame. Sorry. And we are going to see the push wall bangs being sent out to Faded, and they're pushing up now, and they're really taking ground over to Aspect. I don't think Aspect really knows what to do anymore. Only 2 people hold a Vezins on their team, and now it's a 3v5.
Silent going in with the incendiary. Gizmo, though, getting a shot through the smoke. That's going to be a good win right now for Aspect. Never mind. Big Lunch and Gizmo taking another shot. And it looks like not quite able to get that last one on Maker. 2 versus 1. They got the long shot. Big Lunch only there with the shotgun in hand. Not looking good, but the EMP is down. They got to be careful about how they approach this, because that shotgun to the face is not going to feel good.
Macker gets that last pick, and I want to say that I think Aspect actually did a little bit of a better job holding that. They actually played in the captain's quarters. Granted, they still didn't win the round, but you have to like the aggression. They were able to get 3 picks off and almost clutch it up. It came down to that 1v2, and the defense actually had possession of the EMP. I don't know if he knew where it was on the ground and that the offense had to push him, but Fluid winning another round. I mean, you have to be impressed with Fluid right now. I mean, not a lot of people believed in him, and they're proving him wrong. They're up 3-1 right now on this attack, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. I really am.
Everyone in the community definitely was against them. I think how many votes was it for them? 6. It might have been all the people on their team plus some random person just had, they've seen the Fluid NA performance and they're like, you know what, underrated team. I know exactly how they play, underrated. They're gonna knock out Aspects, so it'll be exciting to see if they do that. Again, this is the first half. Maybe the Aspects just kind of warming up. Maybe this first half is rough for them. Maybe their defense on ships just kind of sucks, and maybe they're a lot better on the attacking side, because sometimes it is just a side difference. Sometimes it's just a map difference, and that's why I do think it's interesting when we see teams make choices like banning a map like Factory. Factory is so common, right? So to see teams really fight it out on different maps, I think leads for a more interesting game.
So we are seeing a lot of roaming right now over on the Aspect. We're seeing one person upstairs and then Blame super close below. But we're not seeing too many like far pushes and aggressive holds off of sight from Aspect. And the util, I love seeing util plays, but Fluid holding pretty much all the util, Aspect only having 2 instants. It's not really a good choice in these types of maps. You're not going to be able to stop the pushes and, counter them as easy as we are seeing all Fluid team going over to Hatch. Maybe we're seeing a hot drop or a quick plant over here.
You know me, biggest fan of hot drops. Biggest fan of hot drops right here. Pig Lunch really trying to prevent them from coming in. Incendiary on the floor, waiting for that Fluid NA push. They got another deep frag. Not hitting anything in the Gizmo on the back. Able to knock down Pre-Votes. Gizmo trying to get Pig out. Silverhand, though, takes another. Gizmo knocking down 2. It's looking rough right now for Fluid.
Yeah, the hot drop didn't really work. They didn't use the flashes to the best of their advantage, and they're holding. Aspect is holding the angles perfectly. You're having 2 people hold one angle, and then the other people just denying the push. So I like seeing that aggressive hold from Aspect, and I think they're really ready for these pushes now. I think a flip just got switched over on Aspect's side, as we might see a flawless right here.
5-2 coming into this last stretch of this round. 20 seconds on the clock. Looking great for Aspect. Rough for Fluid, though. To your point, it looks like something might have switched up. Maybe some momentum. Maybe someone on the IGL side of things said, hey, we got to lock in and really make things work out. But we'll see what ends up happening in the end. Gizmo trying to see if they can pick out one of those random stray players. Commander, though, still coming out flawless for the Aspect side of things. 3-2 last round for this first half.
The push from Fluid, I think it just took too long to develop. And once pushes do take too long to develop and the defense isn't seeing a normal push, they're going to look for like any sort of weird pushes that you're doing. So they all probably knew that a hatch play was coming since no one was pushing birthing or the back dartboard on A, and the hatch play didn't work. They tried to throw the flashes down, took 3 of them out instantly. So the last 2 Fluid players smartly just stayed on the roof and saved their guns going into this final round, so they're able to buy out util and have all full buys. But Aspect coming back, winning a couple rounds here, and I like the defense, and we might be able to see a 3-3 going into this half.
I'm pretty sure all the connoisseur votes are feeling a lot happier about the game that they're watching right now with Aspect. They were like, what's going on? I voted for them. 60 or 70 votes in for the Aspect side. So everyone's a little bit happier, I would say, to see how things can pan out. But hey, this is the time. This is, I think, a catalyst round. Can Fluid NA force this into a 4-2 going into the second half, which is going to look great for them? Or is Aspect finally going to keep their momentum going and tie things up going into the second half? making it pretty solid for them.
Yeah, Blame seeing them right before they pushed in under the door, and now they all rotate over to Armory, and he just is holding that. But we are going to see a pre-instant elf of the outside wall taking one down. And now the aggressive hold coming in from Aspect that we are liking seeing. They're being more aggressive. They're waiting out. They're holding their angles perfectly. They're using their util, blowing the wall so they can hold from inside. They're throwing incense out and throwing C4, getting those chip damage done to Maker and Prev, but they are going to be able to stem up, getting ready to enter the building. Lunch getting taken down by, or Lunch taking down Prev with trips, and I don't know. I think Aspect just had a flip turn.
They did. Outlaw though, taking out a 2K. Big Lunch and Gizmo leaving just 3 players left on the Aspect side. I mean, 2 and 3. This isn't the worst odds to have, but not great for Fluid NA. And you're right, they were looking solid. They were looking pretty solid holding down this defense, but Aspect did retreat back to site at this point, holding down A as best as they can. A minute left on the clock. Fluid NA has a little bit of time, but not much. They got to make some action soon.
Yeah, I really liking this Aspect. They're getting those picks and going back to site, knowing that it's a 3-2 and that they have time and that they can play time is awesome. They're playing together. We're seeing 2 into A and then 1 going to B just for the rotate. But Silver does take down Faded as Faded tried to peek out for info. Ensign's being thrown out. Maybe going for the EMP plant now as both of them push in. And the smoke is just making Blame second guess. But Blame's coming in. Getting taken down by 1 behind the bomb. Silent coming in and just getting swung out.
Aspect actually had a good start to that round. I thought they were going to hold that workshop area well. I mean, it actually got Fluid kind of flustered there, and one of their players actually ended up dying to trips. But then after that, even though that Aspect had numbers, Fluid just kind of stormed the site, took out Faded, like you said. And I want to point out that, what do you call it? Aspect actually did use that C4 to pop the wall, so I was expecting to see a little bit more aggression. But they kind of popped the wall, and they did have numbers, granted, but they kind of just curled up in the site, and it allowed Fluid to just kind of throw those incense down, throw the smoke, and hold the cross angles while that player went for the plant, and it ended up going to that 2v2, and Fluid ended up winning it. But if you're Fluid right now, you have to be very happy going up 4-2 on this half.
I'm sure they're ecstatic right now, and I gotta say that's still a clutch. That was still a clutch setup in the end of 2v3. You know, as much as I'm gonna give a hard time to Aspect, I gotta say Fluid definitely clutched up with their gunplay, and I think I saw someone in the chat, CrazyLee42 said, old teams get put on a pedestal too much, and they don't see these underdogs coming, and that's exactly what I'm feeling right now. At least in the second half for Fluid NA, we'll see if Aspect though can make me eat my words as they shut things down. Maker taking down a Faded.
Yeah, Juice, I might have to agree with you with your comment earlier saying this might be an offensive-sided map now with flashes coming in and all that util that the offense was using. I believe that, you know, defense not using any intel or any util, it's just not working as we are seeing Blame take down Purple and throwing their instance to deny the push, get up space, starting to foam wall and getting to push into A. We're going to see 3 people on A right now. Prav taking down Blame. Gizmo taking down Prev. Sorry. Gizmo taking down Prev. And now Silver pushing into bathrooms, taking down Lunch. And now it is a 2v3.
Gizmo taking out Commander, leaving a 2v2. At this point, it's which team has the better duos. Never mind. Oh, and a trade back and forth. Silent finishing it out for Aspect, and that came down to the wire.
I absolutely love on pistol round when you go for a quick off-meta push. Aspect played that really well. They dropped that dartboard hatch, got the picks. They kind of swarmed in the bathroom, popped the walls, got the picks, got the EMP down, actually, got those extra points. And Fluid's still up though, but Aspect clawing their way back. I mean, we're kind of setting up to see like a 7-6 game.
Definitely. All right. You know me, I'm a sucker for a great overtime. So I'm hoping we can see that between these two teams, Fluid NA, of course, the underdogs here in Aspect, a well-known team, I think, in the Breacher space. At this one, I think they definitely earned their keeps. But hey, as someone said in the chat, just because they're a long-standing team doesn't mean that they can't lose to a newer and up-and-coming one. I mean, I think I had this stream with Gravy and Shimi, and I didn't realize how many newly formed teams are with some great, solid rosters. So we'll see how those teams are when they face against some of these older teams like Aspect, like Acer, like Ivy, of course. But I know we'll have to see as the two teams come head-to-head.
Yeah, we are seeing Utel being thrown to Faded by Maker, putting Faded down with the C4, but not getting the full pick. We're seeing a lot more Utel from Fluid's side. We're seeing 2 Ensigns, another C4, while all we're seeing is flashes in an Ensign, or throwable Utel. Flashes in the Ensign over on Aspect side while they start to push up. C4 being used, not getting any picks with the stem on Aspect side. We might start seeing a lot of Util dumps quicker and quicker into the rounds.
Prevo's getting a shot off on Silent. Outlaw trying to check out these two. Takes out Gizmo. Down for the count, leaving just the 3 on the Aspect side. Prevo's coming up the staircase. We'll see a Big Lunch, though, is able to anticipate this. And they do take a lot of shots, but not knocking down Prevo's. Somehow running away with 4 health in hand. Faded. And I blame my aim. Wait, is that I blame my aim on the site? They weren't expecting that in the rotation. Maker trying to come in. The Commander, never mind. That was just a beautiful ending for Fluid NA. I mean, I was about to say, I thought Aspect had a crazy, crazy play with I blame my aim, basically playing as that deep agent there.
That flank was, it caught me off guard. I didn't see it until you said something about it. He was deep in there. He was all the way in connector. No one was holding that back sight. And that could have been detrimental for Fluid had there been maybe 1 or 2 other people where that last player was, because they were not paying attention toward connector at all. But Fluid, even with that, I mean, they win the round in up 5-3 right now. You gotta be happy right now if you're Fluid. And if you look at the economy, actually, I think, yeah, we're actually going to see a full buy from Aspect. We have 1 Vezin, or actually 2 Vezins, so it seems like they're kind of trying to break the bank right now to try to come back from this. And these are the rounds that, if you're full buying, you have to win this round. If you give up a Thrifty and lose those 2 rifles, considering how much money you have, Big Lunch with 200, Silent 25, I blame my aim 25. If you lose this round, your economy is not going to be good this next one.
We'll see if they can hold it down for the time being. Aspect getting ready for this push. And as you can see, the economy kind of, I don't want to say split, but we're seeing a lot more buys on the Aspect side. So to your point, a little bit riskier. They're going all relatively in on this round. And Fluid NA, if they can get that Thrifty, if they can get a Thrifty and come out, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a 7-3, a 7-4 against Aspect.
Yeah, we are seeing Aspect go ahead and taking Workbench. As they're pushing up to that wall, they're trying to get as much info peeking out. Fluid's trying to get as much info peeking out. The door being phoned, nades being taken out. We see 1 in Vent taking damage to the Ensign barely. We're seeing the plant being down with the mixed push, and maybe not a good chance for Fluid to overtake here while Maker goes into sight through Vending, taking 2. No, sorry. Pev taking 1. Silence might be coming over to catching Pev, catching 1. But Pev catching Silence, and Flame going ahead and taking that final kill.
I know you just saw that, Martini, with that player lagging right there. What in the world just happened right there? What are you like? Let me see the replay on that. What?
Let me get the let me get the replay. I think what happened was it Prevo? Someone had the Cadillo. But I'm gonna be honest. Aspect got lucky. They ran out of bullets. They had to reload, and I think by the time it reloaded and they were about to take a shot, the lag jumped them. So by the time they shot, it didn't matter. Oh, that is just the most perfect set of events for that to even happen.
That was
Man,
so
I
funny.
didn't even see that.
That was so
time.
funny. Oh my god.
Kind of mad I didn't see that now.
You'll check it out on the
but-
cast. You'll see it in what, 2.5 minutes.
Hey, but I love the push from Aspect right there. They took Workbench and they went for that quick rotate, and they got inside and got the EMP down with like maybe 1 or 2 people dead. And then at that point, it just becomes holding cross angles. You had people coming through the vent, people coming through connector, come through the backside flank and workshop.
Right.
But you have EMP down, and you know that they're gonna push you. They have to defuse the bomb. You sit there, hold cross angles, and that's what they did. And the lag actually helped them that round.
I think nothing better than a great rotate by a team, because sometimes teams get so stuck on attacking a certain side as, oh, Blame My Aim takes a couple trip mines to the face from a Maker there. That's going to be a little bit hard for the Aspect players, but hey, they are fine. Look at the full buys. Economy looking amazing right now. I don't think we can quite say the same thing for Fluid.
Yeah, I mean, Aspect, you know, I'm seeing the gears turn on their gameplay, but it is still going to be a fight. Fluid not giving up an inch when it comes to this, and we're seeing Silver come up from the flank, catching one, maybe catching Big Lunch, even with they have gun disadvantage, but just gonna go back. They put themselves in the corner, which I never like, but at that point, it's a 5v3. One's really low. Play back a little bit. Hope that they go for the rotate. Going for the rotate and Maker just not getting out of there.
Gizmo taking a shot. Faded getting a shot. Faded getting a 2K in the end. Leaving just Silverhand left in that rotate. Got the EMP. Can they get the plant down? Looks like Silverhand trying to get their own shot in the end as they hold down that connector. It is planted down, but not over, as Incendiaries can really deny them that rotation spot, at least for the next 10 seconds. I think I would have saved that flash for a little bit longer if I would have been Gizmo, but hey, this is a great hold right now. We would need to see a clutch play by Silver.
Old stream actually crashed. So you got Silverhand right now in this 1v2. I mean, this is kind of hard because once again, Aspect with a quick rotate, they just switch sites instantly, all played together. And like you said, whoever it was, Faded, walked in there, got a 2-piece nugget, and you just completely storm side, get EMP down. And now if you're this last player on Fluid, you just, I don't know, you have a Vezin, you might as well just save, live to fight another round, and keep that Vezin in hand.
Definitely challenging. I mean, Aspect, again, I love seeing the rotates, and I think Fluid's got to be very careful. We've seen the Aspect, I believe, get a rotate now, maybe even 2 rotates in the end. Let me see. Yeah, I got the replay here. We see them go for the rotate. They have a beautiful flash in his corner. Got 3 guys on 1 person there. That was just brutal to watch. And that's how you handle a rotate. You play it aggressive, you lean into it, and you just got to go all in. And that's exactly what we just saw there.
That's 2 in a row. That's 2 in a row for Aspect. You got 2 rotates, and it's worked both times. It's catching Fluid completely off guard, and especially with the gun skill. I mean, Faded walked in there, got those 2 people, and no one else was there to expect it. Last guy was in connector, and at that point, Gizmo just kind of has to just watch it, get the EMP down, and luckily, I'm pretty sure both the Aspect players were actually pretty low, but obviously the Fluid player isn't going to know that. Decided to save the Vezin, which is the smart play in general, because you know Aspect players, they're going to play together and try to go for those refrags, and it's tied up. We have a tie game right now, 5-5.
Yeah, we're seeing Aspect with their backs against the wall coming back and saying, no, we're not done yet. We're going to continue to fight. I'm talking about those gears turning, but honestly, it's their pure instincts at this point. They're saying, we have been here longer. We know this game longer. We are going to just play off of our map skills. And we're seeing the switch up, and Fluid's not ready for it. They're not ready for those, not easy, but those weird, rotates. So
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this is just going to be a neck and neck right now.
It is Gizmo taking a shot off on Prevost. Maker getting one down. Blame I Am goes for the swing, though, and knocks down. Gets out refrag for the time being. Both teams losing players, but obviously a little bit more on the Fluid NA side. Not looking as hot as they were previously. That roamer in Outlaws got to come in soon because time is counting down. Minute and a half left on the clock. Looks like Aspect's going to be attacking pretty soon. I'm getting a little worried for them.
Yeah, Fluid with their backs against the wall now, as Aspect just got space, going with the plant now. It is still a 4v3, so it's still possible.
Wow.
But I think they know the roamer now. Purple might get Gizmo, and he does going into site now. They did another switch up into A, so now they have to overtake A again, and just Aspect holding the angles. Lunch barely not able to get that pick, or Faded barely not able to get that pick off to Purple. Blaine taking down Silverhand, and now it's just a 2v3, 3v1, and their Aspect gets the win again.
That's three switch ups in a row from Aspect, and you gotta wonder at some point, is Fluid gonna catch on to this? It seemed like Fluid had all the momentum earlier. They were up, what, 5-2, 5-3, and they're letting this game slip away from them. But you got to give credit to Aspect right here. They are coming back from this, and the switch-ups are working absolutely magnificent. They're getting in, planting, and then just like Faded was doing, they just sit there and hold the cross angles. They know that Fluid's going to have to just kind of run at them because they have to kill everyone, and they have to defuse the bomb. They're on a time limit. I believe it's like 45 seconds. I'm not exactly sure, but it's great hold from Aspect right there. After they get that EMP down, just hold the angles, and Aspect is now on match point right now. Fluid does have the opportunity to send this into overtime, and we're actually going to see pretty equal gunplay. Yeah, we're going to see everyone having full buys, but if you do look at the utility, Fluid, they're not sitting too pretty. They don't have any nades, any ensigns, only a stim and a C4 in hand.
Yeah, I'm gonna say watch out for Aspect. We've seen them get what, 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 rotation wins. So I wouldn't be shocked if we saw another one of those plays. Fluid, if you're watching the cast, I'd be screaming, please watch out for the rotate, please, because we've seen Aspect just come in so many times with it, and man, I gotta say they've been delivering it so well. Aspect getting ready to set up their attack pretty soon here. Maybe trying to see if they can get an early pick between these two. But looks like Fluid playing very, very conservative. I mean, 4 players on that A side. So it looks like they are spreading out just a tad bit. Maybe getting a little more smart about their approaches. Outlaw getting that pick, but getting refragged in the end.
Yeah, Prev just got Faded walking through the instant. Now EMP is in A. They had Foam on B waiting for that rotate, but Fluid just saying, okay, let's get some picks early so they don't have the chance to rotate. Now EMP is down in sight. We're seeing Silent blow the wall and taking down Prev. You see C4 getting thrown, taking down Silent low. Bad aim is really low as well. So it is a 3v3. Both of these teams are looking to be equal health right now. And it's seriously about who can get the holds more and who can get the first initial hits. We're seeing Commander come up on that flank, maybe trying to catch 1 or 2 off guard before, you know, having them push all into A. And bad aim, getting up to health. So this is really just patience game. This is info peeking and gun skill game right now. Fluid does know that they have to push to them. So they are going to play a little back. They're going to play a little more calm. Flash is being torn out. Catching Silverhand. Silverhand getting taken down. Oh. And Maker, which means it's a 1v3 with Commander on the flank.
I mean, that was a beautiful play. That was definitely a beautiful play in the end. They got the EMP. They are going to be planning it down 15 seconds on the clock. It's going to be tight on this timing as Commander now having to retake the Aspect team, and this is it. This is a do or die moment because they will lose out, and unfortunately, that is going to be it. Aspect winning this one out 7-5.
Absolutely brilliant job there from Aspect, and you saw the flashbangs go into play right there. Flash 2 of their players So at that point, all they're seeing is a black screen. They can't even, they just have to hope and to shoot and maybe hit someone. But they stormed site and took out those 2 players and made it a 3v1. And at that point, you're just sitting there and playing refrags off each other, making it impossible for Fluid to come out on top in that situation. And huge props to Aspect for not giving up on this game after going down early. They came back and they won it in a nail biter.
I gotta say, I was imagining what is Aspect like right now when I saw them in that second half and they were just getting so many great rotation. I was like, you know what? They're like little Caesars right now. They're delivering that EMP hot and ready, and Fluid NA was not ready. I know, right? They were not ready.
Good.
They were not ready.
That was off the head? That was off the dome?
I was thinking about it in the previous round. I'm like, I was gonna use it, but then we got it. Then we're doing the play-by-play. But I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? That's kind of crazy. Because they were coming in hot and ready, not ready. Obviously for the Fluid NA side, and they obviously could not adapt fast enough. And I always say that's one of the hardest things about competitive games is, can you adjust, can you adapt on the fly to the enemy team's play style? And obviously we didn't quite see that here between Aspect and Fluid. Aspect though, probably very happy about where they ended up.
Yeah, I will say I do have to agree with Juice. This is turning into an offense-sided map where we're seeing those flashes being used to clear site fully and just taking space so much quicker. We did see Aspect getting down 4-2 before the switch, and then coming back winning, 5 games in a row to take the win home. I mean, you can't ask for a better comeback and a better game at that. They barely got it to where it wasn't overtime, and I'll just say that was probably one of my favorite matches I watched.
The sites, I want to point out that the sites on ship are so open, and that's why the flashbangs are so good. They cover up so much area, and like you saw in that last round, all they had to do was throw it over that little half wall, and boom, 2 of them are flashed. 2 of them can't see. They're basically useless, and Aspect took very much advantage of that, walked in and got the 2 easiest kills of their lives, and then get EMP down. The utility placement is key when it comes to ship. If you know where you're using your util, you can win against anyone.
Definitely understandable. Looks like they might be going in for a change, I believe, on the server. So we go into a very quick intermission, but we'll be right back. See y'all in just a couple minutes.
Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. And somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point.
Good evening. We're back in on the action. Let me let the teams know they're ready to go. Y'all are ready to go. Are ready to go. I mean, we saw Fluid NA 5 and 7. Aspect obviously winning that one out against them. Looking, I gotta say, really good for a team that was definitely the big underdog for them there. What did y'all see in that previous round?
Okay, well, you know what? I thought Fluid did a really good job. I mean, like we stated earlier, the connoisseur votes were heavily in favor of Aspect, but Fluid kind of shut that down here, and I'm expecting this second map to be just as close, maybe even closer. And getting right into it, I'm very excited to see how this goes.
As we do bring it in Hideout, obviously a tried and true map that I think everyone is very, very comfortable with. Here we are coming in. What's up? I see Faded in the chat saying, I just came in to say hi, Martini. What's up, Faded? My other Shorty King. Yeah, I know what it's like. But aren't you supposed to be in the game, Faded? What are you doing? Get out of the chat. What are you doing? Go pay attention.
He's not locked.
You're not locked in. You got to be locked in. But hey, I got an interesting question I saw in the chat. Which team do you think has the best gun skill? I'm always a guy, I bring out Acer. They were, I think for a while, just had that talent and still do. And to me, I think the gun skill goes a little further on a team like Acer. Which team do y'all think stands out in terms of gun skills?
I would either say Acer or IVI. I mean, I've always said those teams are like the two-headed dragons. Those teams are absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. Top two teams right there, it really shows their gun talent. So, I mean, I can't argue with that.
Can't argue with that as we come into this upcoming round as Fluid starting on the attack against Aspect on a very common side. I think we all are used to this. Third floor. Whoa, Silverhand taking out Faded already. I didn't even see that.
Oh, Faded tried to go from that peak on the bottom window. He tried to catch whoever was on the lobby window off guard, but he got caught off guard. Tore his headshot. Absolutely brilliant shot. And very early on, Fluid with a numbers advantage, and they're taking space very quick.
As they get ready for this push, it looks like on the A side, Aspect, though, going to be holding their time and waiting to see what approaches they have. Big launch, though, with a beautiful side angle. I play my aim with their own. Looks like the Cyclone is really showing its use in this game. I mean, look at the Aspect side. 1, 2, 3 Cyclones in hand.
The Cyclone, is the only bad thing about it that I've noticed is that if you're playing against people who play off refrags, because of the ammo capacity, you can usually only kill one person. I mean, if you hit all your headshots, you can get two, but that's mostly where the Spectral comes back into play, especially with the more ammo, and you can tap fire as Gizmo with that Cyclone in hand, takes him out, and early on, Aspect with the 4-2 lead, they're not giving up any space.
Very little space indeed. Commander looking on, trying to get a shot in deep there. Not quite landing though. 2-4. Looking really tough right now for the Fluid NA players. I'm waiting to see if that Aspect roamer is going to come out. I see Silent just itching on that corner, and I kind of want them to drop a trap. 40 seconds on the clock as Fluid taking so much chip damage. 23 health, 9 health in hand. I mean, Aspect is looking in a great form right now.
Gizmo swings and takes out one. Flicks takes a second out, and that round probably could not have gone any better for Aspect. I mean, Faded did get he got slammed to start the round, but other than that, Aspect played absolutely perfect. Held the cross angles. That was awesome.
I will say on that floor, it is really hard to counteract those lean peaks behind the bomb and behind the tub. It's super hard to get those picks off unless you have ensigns and able to pick them out one by one. But in Fluid's disadvantage, they didn't throw any util to try getting those picks or try even stopping the push up when they were low. But dude, the first part with the first pick on a Faded, I thought that, Fluid getting that space, getting that advantage was really going to help them. But man, it's just super hard to counteract that.
Definitely hard to counteract that. Fluid NA, I mean, they're just getting hammered left and right by those Cyclones. I mean, to Juice's point, it's great on those 1v1s, and Aspect did a great job at isolating those 1v1s, not really exposing themselves too much to multiple players at the same time, and as we saw, that worked out very well in their favor. Fluid NA, though, getting ready for this push, I believe, into a B side. Obviously, the most common site to push. And, this is something I do find interesting. I think the other game I recently casted, I saw more off-meta pushes, but I think it's because the defending team utilized that C4 a lot more, and I'm not quite seeing that here. I'm seeing more of those meta pushes, but I have noticed Aspect isn't utilizing the C4 too much to open up these holes up a little early.
Fluid kind of playing a little slow here as Purple gets a little bit of damage taken onto him, and I think that Fluid is going to go for a hatch play here. They've taken control of Garage. They actually have 2 players up here, and I think they're trying to catch out a roamer. They're kind of like looking towards Laundry, but no one is up there right now. And it's almost been a minute so far, and they haven't even got to the right floor yet as Gizmo takes out one on Waterfall, giving the early advantage to Aspect. Garage hatch is now popped, though, and Blame My Aim takes out a second, and Fluid right now is giving up these isolated 1v1s, and it's working in their favor.
Not working out in their favor at all. Fluid NA now only down to 3 players, 2 of them up on the other side. Gizmo, though, getting knocked out by Commander and Outlaw and Silverhand, waiting to see how things work out. I Blame My Aim, though, trying their best to really hold down the storage. We'll see if they can. We might be seeing a pinch pretty soon here. Silverhand talking them down. I Blame My Aim going for the refrag. Never mind. Silverhand knocking them out too, leaving in a 2v2, but obviously Fluid a little bit less chip, a lot more chip damage.
It was a great pinch, but you got to keep an eye on Faded on top of the hatch. Takes out one with the Taurus, gets a body shot on Purple. Not able to get the pick, but Silent with that health advantage here. Purple sitting at half health. He's going to pop that playground wall, and he does have the EMP, so we could see a rotate in play unless he decides, he only has 30 seconds. So it seems like he might have to try to go for the kill or go for the play, and he does. He stands up and takes out Silent outside of playground, and Fluid tying it up.
Yeah, there was a lot going on there. There was so many different pushes going on. There was a upstairs roam over at Garage for a long time, throwing that nade over to the front side of B. And I just think that the gun skill and the advantage on Fluid's side actually fully helped them right there, as they were able to get those refrags. They were able to take down those roamers just in time for them to be able to push into B and likely get that kill.
I'm excited to see what ends up happening in this upcoming round, and I guess I gotta call back to Lofi. They said, or Lo-Fi, they said they mean between these two teams, which team do you think has the better gun skill, Aspect or Fluid? And I was just thinking about it in this previous round, which team has better gun skill? I honestly think it's pretty tight. I've seen both teams consistently getting these refrags on top of each other, getting these picks. In terms of kills, I don't think I'm seeing. I mean, this is an exception because Aspect had a pretty solid round there, but I feel like it's more even than I think it is.
Yeah, I don't know if you realize this, but Gizmo was faking to be a clone, and it worked! This Gizmo able to get a pick with the Hurricane Fade and also catches one off on the front door. Oh my goodness! What a disaster for Fluid. That was so funny. Gizmo was standing completely still. Almost had me fooled that he was a clone. Faded takes out a second. And before Fluid even enters the building, they're only left at 2 players.
I don't know how Aspect did it, but they definitely managed to knock down a lot of these players. And you're right, I was watching Gizmo the whole time, and I thought they're going to get murdered immediately. I'm used to people shooting, you know, the thing at the clone, and he was Gizmo knocking down Silverhand for the count, leaving just Outlaw, and of course Silent knocking him down for the count. Aspect looking really good, and maybe I need to retract my statement because the Aspect's looking a little better in terms of gunplay, I think, in this round.
Yeah, I mean, I love seeing those fake cloak plays. You saw so many when cloaks were just now added. Gizmo just standing there, drone, seeing that it was a cloak, decides that, you know, they shouldn't shoot it, and Gizmo just able to get a free pick. I think that the gun advantage and the first 2 picks of this round will really determine on who wins. Also, just the positioning of Aspect and their defensive holds. I think that they'll be able to win a lot more if they're able to just hold and be ready for Fluid, be ready for Fluid's attacks, and just get them off guard.
I will say it's back and forth, right? 2-1. It's early in the round. We can't count out Fluid too early. As we saw in the previous round, they did a pretty good job against Aspect. So I'm not gonna count them out yet, but I will say Fluid's looking. I want to say rough, but 2-1's not bad.
We're gonna see a really long flank kind of from the whole Fluid team. It seems like they're gonna have a bait and switch, but the only bad thing about this is if you're crouch walking upstairs, it's gonna take a while. But oh my goodness, Gizmo's about to be caught off guard by 4 people, and he just got the firing squad put on him. 4 players, and just all those shots to his back. There was nothing Gizmo could do about that. But because he got picked, the rest of the team, he's gonna calm to them that it might be an A push, as we do see Silent and Big Lunch kind of rotate over. And we're going to see the split push, and I don't know if they do have foam or not, but if they do, they could probably storm A.
Looks like they are trying to make it a little harder to figure out, though, as outlawed, goes in, gets a pick, though, in the end, leaving just Fluid the whole of A to attack, but Silent's still alive in the corner. Big Lunch and Silent with their own picks in the end. Silent's got to hold this one down, gets knocked down for the count, leaving just Faded in the rotation. Now in his 1v2, they got to play this perfectly. Takes out the one, but they haven't quite gotten the second one. Silverhand's got to stick it in order to really win this one out. Faded somehow sneaking across. What just happened there? Hold up, chat. Look at this.
My goodness, Faded, that was the smartest thing you could have done in there. He knew that he had enough room to go by the ensign without being killed by it, and snuck up and caught that player completely off guard, hands in their pants, got the pick and Aspect going up 3-1. Beautiful play, and that's game sense to the max. Absolute beautiful game sense there from Faded.
Man, I'm just at wall. Like, this is a crazy match right now. It's going back and forth. Fluid getting the first 2 picks, and then Aspect able to bring it back. This is probably the most intense match I've seen in a while, with Fluid putting pressure on pressure on pressure, and Aspect able to just take over. I'm telling you, the first map, Aspect actually saw how good they could play, and they decided that they were going to give it their all now. I think that this will end up in an overtime.
You know,
I think it will. And I think that one team will absolutely demolish the other one on overtime.
You know, Faded, if you're watching back on this, I gotta say you're the man. I think the amount of times I've seen Faded do something creative or interesting, and I think I'm a little biased because I met Faded in person. He's a pretty cool guy, actually. I'm like, you know what? Shout out to Faded. So definitely clip that if you can for him. As we come into this upcoming round. Fluid NA, I will be honest, that should have been their round. That was so close. Great setup, but somehow Aspect just making things work out in the end.
It was a great push, but Fluid pushing this top floor, and we're going to see a bit of an off mid. It seems like they're going Killbox Hall / bedroom. Usually you just see an A site take because how easy the A site is, but doesn't seem like they're going to do that. But Gizmo's sitting on this Killbox, and he's going to have a nade tossed at him. S-tier frag from Mocker, taking out Gizmo early on. And Blame, I don't know how that nade didn't even do any damage to him. Tries to swing out the hall, and Mocker takes out a second. So early number advantage in favor of Fluid.
I mean, this death box working out. Silverhand, though, getting a beautiful wall bang. They were not expecting that on the rotate. Look at this. 5 players are alive, by the way, on Fluid. Somehow, Outlord comes in and back. Gets 1, gets 2. Gets a 2K in the end for the Fluid players. And I mean, what is going on?
Man, this match is just going back and forth. They all are doing so good as a team. Both of them, both sides, are doing great as a team. It's seriously just coming down to the site and the pushes that they're doing. The off-meta B push, the first 2 picks with the nade, and well, both the nade. No, did what's his name die to a nade? The guy on the door? Did he die to a nade too? Gizmo's died to a nade.
I forgot.
It's just the way that they're pushing is awesome, and Aspect can't keep up until the last second when it starts cooling down. This is anyone's game still. Fluid could come back and absolutely just start cooking. It's anyone's game, and this is just awesome.
Wow. I signed up for a good game today, and that's exactly what I'm getting. 7-5. Because of this, I want us to go to map 3. And you know what that means? I gotta see Aspect lose. So I'm sorry. If anyone on the Aspect side is watching, please don't win this map 2. I want to see us go to map 3. I want to see a tiebreaker round. I want to see some amazing gameplay, some amazing Breachers gameplay, some fun Breachers gameplay, as it looks like Silent already taking a lot of chip damage in this round.
Someone actually rolled a grenade under the car, and I don't know how it didn't kill Silent, to be honest. It was like right next to his feet. His Outlaw swings the door, and oh no, the flank watch. I blame my aim. Actually let him walk in and get the pick. He did get the refrag, but 2 of your defensive players are down, so now Fluid with the man advantage, and they're just storming site. Commander just walked in, and Big Lunge gets a little bit of damage on him, sitting island right now, but EMP is on front door, and Gizmo's actually watching it right now. Is Outlaw Red takes out 1, and there's only 2 Aspect players still standing.
S tier instead. Beautiful shot by iBlame. 2v2 right now for Aspect. How are they holding down the EMP like their rent depends on this? I don't know what is going on right now in the Aspect mindset, but they're doing a great job. Gizmo and iBlame AM, look at them. No damage. I don't think they had any syringes either. So again, this is the last round of this first half. They gotta go in. There's no waiting for the Fluid players. They gotta play this one, and they gotta play it right. Otherwise, we're gonna be seeing Aspect lose out this one potentially.
Aspect doing a really good job holding the EMP. Like you said, I can't believe they're actually holding it, but all of these Fluid players are hurt right now. When, whoa, drops the Skylight, takes out 1, and it's all up to Gizmo right here in a 1v2, but he does have the health advantage, takes out 1 in Piano, and it's a 1v1 situation here. Commander was able to grab the EMP, and Gizmo's going to rotate upstairs, but Commander has complete control of site, getting the EMP down quick, and Gizmo actually drops the hash. He's right behind Commander right now, and I think Gizmo actually sees the EMP on the wall now, so he knows exactly Commander's at. I believe so, but 30 seconds left on the clock, so Commander has to make a play now.
Oh my god. Wow. I mean, Gizmo's game sense to know that it's on the other side, plays it, still finds the exact spot it was planted. This is going to be challenging for Commander. Gizmo, I think, made the smart decision to go out to the corner, really get a good angle on the EMP. No, they get the plant down, now leaving. Commander in the 1v1. Gizmo's got to play this perfectly.
Commander luckily only had one tick left, and he got it, and he rotated over, so now who sees who first? Commander holding a lean angle with a cloak, or is not cloaked just yet, but Gizmo pre-firing the corner, and Commander sees him, and he threw it. Oh! Gizmo actually threw a cyclone, and Commander able to clutch it up, and Fluid is tying it going into the half.
Dude, this is, again, this is so intense. We saw Gizmo know where the plant is, and just luckily Gizmo couldn't peek out in time to take down Commander with the EMP starting to plant. It's back and forth with these players. They were holding EMP. Someone comes up from Skylight, and it's crazy game sense that they know they're going to be up there and able to get that pick. But just health advantage, the team damage on that really did not help. I believe it was purple at that fight. Or no, it was red at that fight where Gizmo was just able to one-tap him with the Cyclone. It's a crazy back and forth here. And I mean, it's anyone. There's nothing that could be changed. Everyone's doing everything perfect. It's literally just when they're doing it. That is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, great job. Just a reminder, apparently it's Outlaw Red. I know I'm saying like outlawyered or something. Outlaw Red. Actually, that makes sense. I see Outlaw Purple, Outlaw Red, and apparently Outlaw Blue in the chat. So a lot of Outlaw folks here enjoying themselves and obviously matching their names. Fluid, though, getting this halftime rotation. We'll see if they can hold it down. Maybe force things into a map 3, because I don't know what happened in the second half of that first part, but they just started ramping up, and their momentum looked amazing. I got a little worried for Aspect.
Surprising move from Fluid right here, not holding storage. They're giving up a lot of space early on. Faded already has control of the garage hatch. He could drop if he wants. Granted, he doesn't know that no one's in storage. And we have a pretty heavy site hold, except for Commander holding Waterfall. Seems like the storage push is now in effect as Faded walks in, and Purple on a lean angle on the door takes out one. Is he able to take out the second? He doesn't, and he dies to Gizmo walking into the breach. Gizmo takes out a second with an ensign. Gizmo takes out a third with his gun, and he's on Ace Watch right now with a 3-piece. Wow. Silent does take out one from the hatch, and it's all up to Commander now as complete site control is in favor of Aspect.
I mean, yeah, they're holding down this corner, preventing that rotation from Commander. Silent, though, really trying to draw them out and see if they can finish out this round. Commander trying their best to get some blind fires in themselves as we kind of go around, ring around the rosy at this point. Both teams going for the full commitment. Ooh. Commander goes in, gets picked up, though, in the end by Silent.
Man, Gizmo getting in there and getting those 3 kills right off the bat really helped Aspect get in, get the plant, and able to hold Connector from hatch. Silent really got blood hungry, though, after he dropped hatch to try chasing him, but noticed that it was just stupid to push alone and had Gizmo as his back. It's anyone's game, but the way that Fluid is giving up space and then getting one person getting 3 kills, it's not helping them in that favor. They need to be playing off of each other and getting refrags, and they need to be holding better angles. This site would be the best for them to hold angles behind bomb and behind tub, and I think that right here, just as an opinion, I think Fluid will win this one. I'm just gonna say it. I think Fluid's gonna win this round.
Wow, okay. I love the confidence. He's like, they're winning here. Fight me later. Fight me in the chat about it. Chat. Tell me right now, who do you think's gonna win this round? Just outright. Nothing has happened yet. Right now, who wins? Fluid or Aspect? I am excited to see if they win or not. Fluid, though, playing aggressive on his defense. 2 players out in family room balcony. You gotta be careful, though. Aspect being smart about what's going on. Outlaw Red, though, getting a lot of chip damage on Faded as the Gizmo goes in for their own aggressive pick. Gets a shot, but Maker does get that refrag from Outlaw.
To get that refrag now, but Fluid with the health advantage because Faded is sitting at 20 health, no stims. So, oh wait, no, they do have a stem. Okay, well, Faded's gonna get back up. It's a 4v4 now before the players have even entered the building. And I really liked the aggressive hold from Fluid. After the round started, they smoked off the balcony window, and we're gonna see a B hatch drop. Commander gets one, Silent with a quick refrag, and Silent by himself in sight right now, sitting very low, takes out one, and Connector's instant off, so he could go for this plant right now. It is a 2v2, but Silent's teammate is on the hatch. Blame drops it and catches Outlaw Red. No, Red actually pick. Silent took out one, and it's one health versus one health. And it goes in favor of Outlaw Red, and it is a tie game at 4 apiece now.
Now, I will say, before anyone gets mad at me, I was really wrong on how that was going to play out. I thought Fluid was going to hold more angles, and Aspect just ran in and went into B. Luckily, there was someone ready for them, but if no one was there, that was going to be a whole different situation. I was going to have to swallow my words. But luckily, I was still kind of right.
I don't want to say you were kind of right. You were definitively right in the sense that Fluid did win. I will say that they did win. So I'm kind of curious when chat gets around to it. There's a delay. I want to see the comments rolling in about, you know what? I think this is rigged, right? This is rigged because we want to go to a best of 3. We want to see that tiebreaker map, but I don't know. I think Aspect probably wants to go home a little earlier.
You know, yeah. This has actually been a treat to watch. I'm not gonna lie. Before the game started, I was leaning a lot towards Aspect, but Fluid is showing out right now. When they're showing the connoisseurs that they're here to play, and they're actually putting on a show early on. His big lunch takes out one very early. Baker actually tried to go for an aggressive peek and was taken out. So now Fluid down a man very early on.
That might have been a little too aggressive of a push because it does put a Fluid down one. Aspect, though, go for their obvious rotation. Commander, though, waiting on the back. Gets the 1, gets the 2. Almost getting the 3rd. And almost getting a couple more picks as that C4 going in deep. Not quite landing, though. Silverhand having to somehow manage to be in the middle of this site. All out mayhem, I gotta say, for Fluid. No, they get 2 picks, 3. What is going on?
Oh my gosh.
The amount of picks I just saw Fluid get in a row was crazy. They got the 2 picks before a wall was open, and they split up on a great split. And one picked off 2, I think, one picked off 2 over at the wall, and then the other got the one that was roaming in theaters that could have picked off his teammate. And I'm at a loss for words right now. I don't even know what to think anymore because this is just a crazy game.
Crazy indeed. I don't think a lot of us expected Fluid to do what they've done today. And I gotta say, that means Fluid's really making a little bit of a name for themselves. The fact that they performed so well against Aspect. And I'm honestly happy we got this cast because it sucks when you see, you know, a good game on the matches and unfortunately no one was able to pick it up for a cast. So it's cool to be able to actually view it, see what's going on, and obviously these teams can come back later and do some VOD reviews if they wanted to. So it'll be exciting to see what ends up happening after this and obviously what happens in the next round. Maybe a next map.
I want to point out, though, that Fluid has learned their lesson about watching for the rotates. And like you said, Commander probably saved that round for Fluid. Able to catch 2 players off guard when they were trying to go for that rotate that Aspect was doing all of last game. And it pretty much kind of just stopped their push.
It did indeed. We're seeing Commander, again, play that aggressive roamer role. I think they've realized how Aspect plays, and it almost feels like they're definitely reading them a lot better than they are the last map. So I'm excited to see what Fluid does with his newfound knowledge. And this is what I was exactly talking about. Can these teams adapt fast enough? And I'm starting to feel like Fluid's starting to adapt, but can they adapt enough to win against Aspect in this map too?
Outlaw Purple takes out I Blame My Aim, and Big Lunch is actually getting the EMP down, but an instant is tossed, so Big Lunch is gonna die, but he just barely gets the EMP down. But all 5 Fluid players are alive. Outlaw Purple takes out one Silent with a quick refrag off on the Commander. It is a post-plant situation, but you gotta look at the Aspect players' health. They're all 4 Fluid players are right on the EMP, so is just kind of waiting for these players to peek. Silent takes out one. It's a 3v3. Mocker TKs his teammate. 2v1. It's all up to Purple now with full health. It takes a little bit of damage out on the faded in. Purple gets swung at Aspect, ties it up at 5 apiece. What a brilliant post-plant hold from Aspect.
Man, with that TK, I think it kind of messed them up. I also think that Purple couldn't move there, if I wasn't mistaken. I don't think Purple could move. He was standing really still when I would have went over personally to the door, you know, and I think I saw him wanting to as well, looking over at that door. I don't think he could move. I don't know if that's a glitch or something going around, but I think that, you know, off of that post plant, Aspect had some really good holds, but just Fluid was able to get some of those picks off, and it started looking like Fluid would be able to take over. But again, these are really two good teams, and I think gun skill and all that blind firing is just awesome. Their sound cues are just awesome watching. So
I know, if you could just capture a moment, right, and you saw Fluid come out 4 players, the Aspect side, so much chip damage. Just do it like a quick moment, like freeze frame there. I would have thought, if you just given me that, like, who wins this round, that'd be kind of a cool, like, trivia game, who wins this round. I would have said Fluid, but that wasn't the case, unfortunately. So things didn't work out for them in the end. And I saw someone in the chat, this is the Fluid I know in Scrim. Let's go, Fluid. Kick butt. They use some other more colorful words, but, you know, it's VRML. You got to be a little cleaner. As we're on here. Aspect getting ready for this push, though, on the B side, getting a lot of utility dumps out here, but nothing quite sticking.
Once again, Fluid is not holding storage. They do have trip mines in here, but they're giving up space early on. And I don't know if the offense just didn't have a drone. Commander takes out one. Quick refrag, though, by Silent up on the hatch. So it's now a 4v4 here. A minute into the round, Silent does pop the garage hatch. But you have Maker actually coming down from Waterfall. Silent drops the hatch, so Maker's going to hear that audio cue. And Big Lunch through the smoke takes him out. So Fluid with the man disadvantage now as all 3 of their players are in B. And Aspect is kind of swarming them right now, taking control of storage, taking control of the main breach. So this could be a bit of a pinch here.
I'm waiting to see what happens. That's a defrag, not quite landing where they wanted it to go. Silent goes in, gets the pick, though, on Outlaw. Big Lunch knocking out Outlaw Red, Outlaw Purple, Silverhand. Now in a 1v4 against the might of the Aspect army as they are coming in. Goes in for almost getting the instant, but obviously not quite sticking in the end. Silent, though, can they get the last one? No. Silent gets picked up by Silver.
Oh, I was about to say, okay, the Aspect players below, I was about to say you kind of have to be careful here, because if you even 2 of their players were one shot, that round could have turned around very quickly, and Fluid could have came out on top of that. But luckily, Aspect goes up to match point now.
Yeah, I don't think that letting them have storage is a good option for Fluid. Even if one person's over there, maybe getting a pick, it delays the push and allows you to be ready for that, and they're just not ready. Hatch is being blown and immediately going down for more picks. Saw that one guy on Waterfall, if he was just in storage, I think he could have stopped the push. I think that it's seriously up to timing at this. I think Siege timing is taking a big step into this game, and I just don't know at this point.
We don't know either. I mean, we saw Fluid have a great comeback for just a tad bit. I mean, we saw, I think, 2 or 3 rounds in a row. It looks so good. So good between these 2. And then Aspect, though, has been really coming back in their own form. Outlaw. Purple playing aggressive. Gets picked up by I Blame My Aim. No, they played a little too aggressive on that window. And they got to be careful. This is match point. This is it. This is do or die. Or you got to force that overtime.
Like you said, do or die, and Outlaw Purple going out early is not really beneficial. And once again, Aspect is taking space really quick. They are inside Gizmo. in there, takes out one. Silverhand takes out two of his own with that Cadillo. It is a 3v3, but the EMP is still in garage right now. Faded has it, but Silent sitting on island holding the cross angles if Commander comes in through connector, and two of these Aspect players are now 1 health. Silent takes out one coming through connector. Faded throws the EMP over to island, and Silent should be able to... Wait, where did the EMP... Oh, the EMP is island right now. I don't know. Silent lost it. Okay, now he's going to get the EMP down, and it is looking good for Aspect if they can hold these crosses.
Commander picking up Faded, leaving just Silent and Big Lunch. This is the moment they can maybe come back and win this out. Silent's been holding this corner. No, gets picked up by Commander. Now it's just Big Lunch. Time is counting down. They got to be careful about this approach. I wonder, do they know where Big Lunch is? They got to just, I think just got a double, I can't even say double swing. I mean, they both have too low health.
They're both one shot, and it's like, oh, they could die to anything. Commander is sitting at 1 health, and they're just watching the car. They're just waiting for a swing. Commander going to be able to get the big. He doesn't. Commander doesn't, and Big Lunch, and Aspect is going to win this. There's no time left, and Aspect takes map 2.
Oh.
Man, what a match. Fluid just doing good and showing that they can compete on this level. It's seriously just those picks, those 1 or 2 picks that are setting this game aside and making it to where Aspect does eventually get the win. And we are going to see Big Lunch kind of celebrating for that round win. And man, this was just a great game to watch.
Yeah, I mean, as much as it is a loss, technically a 2-0 loss for Fluid, it's not as bad as it looks. 7-5, 7-5. You can't get any closer than that unless you get that overtime, right? And I definitely saw potential double overtime from both of these teams. So we've gotten so close, and I got to give a lot of credit to Fluid. You know, everyone in the chat's like, wow, Fluid's doing a really good job. Someone said Fluid adapts to the shape of the other team. And I love to see stuff like that, because that's the coolest thing I think about Breachers and you know, how the game plays, is seeing teams adapt and create strategies that keep working around the other ones. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And we saw it happen so many times where it did work for Fluid. We saw them finally start adjusting to Aspect's hard rotation. They got shut down in the end there, but it just, as much as they did a great job, they just didn't, they weren't able to really hold up against Aspect on 14. 7-5, 7-5 is, I mean, that was close. That was, I think any other day, maybe a different choice of maps, we could have seen a map 3, I'm gonna be honest.
It was so close, and you really have to give credit to Fluid right here. They did not back down, even though the world was against them. And I'm actually curious to see how the connoisseur votes are going forward. If maybe more people are gonna start leaning towards Fluid, because I mean, they did put up a performance. But I mean, credit to both teams. Aspect played great, Fluid played great. It came down to the wire on both maps. It was a very fun watch.
Man, I don't know if that could have ended any differently. Both of them did great with their plays and their pushes, and I think that Fluid might have a good shot at, you know, getting those connoisseur votes and maybe getting better on these upcoming matches and seeing what maybe they did wrong. Maybe the util bounced off the wrong way. I think that they're going to be able to adjust and hit back harder and faster than they did this match. I got to give credit to them. I didn't think they were going to do that good, and they did really great.
Amazing job indeed for the Fluid players. I did want to give a quick shout out to the creators on the VRML team, and of course the mods. If you ever want to get involved in what we do behind the scenes, which is creating content, casting games, or helping with moderation, we're always accepting applications for more volunteers. Please head over to the Breachers VRML Discord server and submit an application if you're interested. I mean, I have been doing this for several years. Cold and Juice, I know, a little bit newer, but I'm sure they still have a good time hopping on and enjoying some cast. And of course the mods. I love the mods, because I know I could never do their job, but they support us so much, and I'm always, you know, willing to really appreciate what they do for the game. But thanks again for coming out and watching another VRML Breachers cast, especially such an amazing cast today between Fluid and Aspect. We appreciate seeing you all here today. And of course, remember to subscribe and leave a like. It's greatly appreciated hopefully we see y'all in the next cast.
Reacher's VRML is brought to you by Helga, the esports manager, Triangle Factory. Thanks for watching VRML.